Hey, Zumi Mia here. Today, I want to talk about the next 3 episodes of Serial Experiment Lain. Not as a review, but as a reflection on how they made me feel. Episode 4 starts directly after the end of the last episode, with Lain still working on the computer. She's still acting strangely, and at least her sister and father notice. Honestly, at this point, I can't tell what could have triggered this change, but ever since the shooting at the club, she hasn't quite been the same. There's some little kid that's chasing a guy. At first I thought it was Lain, but it's definitely not. She looks like she's no older than 8 or 9, so I really have no idea why she would be a murderer. Lain's smiling a lot more and differently than before. She also speaks with a different inflection. And then later, we see a shiny version of Lain coming toward another guy in the Wired. And I don't even know if Lain and Shiny Lain are the same person. And then there's another apparition of Lain that's not shiny. Is this the same one? Or could there be 3 of them, or more? Again with the tech, she has 3 computers set up around her, and a lot of different things to power them. The Wired is actually a game. Its graphics aren't that great. It looks like a PS1 survival horror game, but I guess this show did come out in 1998. While in The Wired, the guy who saw Ghost Lane earlier gets chased by that young girl from before. He turns around and shoots her with a finger pistol, which I would do the exact same thing as him and keep shooting her even when she's already down. I've seen Scream. You gotta make sure they're dead. Or not, because apparently that was a child just playing tag in The Wired. Okay, now I want to preface this next part by saying the music was kind of loud over the voices in this part, so I couldn't hear the voices great. But as far as I heard, the Knights are a religion or a cult, maybe, that exists in The Wired. Lain's trying to metamorphosize into The Wired? Lain said, "I'm still me." But I don't believe that. The glasses guys came back, and Lain blew up his eye through the window. What the hell? Distortion Layer 05. When this episode starts, Lain's talking to a doll, possibly in a flashback. There's moments later in this episode like this, with an odd-looking mask, then her mom, then her dad. What all of these have in common is staging. Lain's on the right side of the room, and what she's speaking to is on the left. And even when it's her parents, their feet are off the floor, and they have a ghostly appearance. If this is a flashback, how long ago is it? Lain's standing in the middle of the road, repeating the phrase from episode 2. No matter where you are, everyone is always connected. And when she says this, she appears on everyone's screen, at least around the city, but possibly further. How did she do this? Lain's sister starts experiencing something I can't even really describe. She's seeing apparitions and keeps seeing the same text everywhere. And then when she finally makes it out, she sees herself, another version of her, that then evaporates her, and she turns into a weird glassy ghost apparition? Is she dead? What the fuck is going on here? There's a god in The Wired, or at least someone with the powers of one. Whoever he is, he talks to people through their thoughts. The Knights are a group of hackers that hack across The Wired. Lain has gone from 3 now to 6 computers from the last episode. At the end of the episode, Lain's at her computer, and she says, "Who will it be today?" Kids, Layer 06. When Lain goes into The Wired, she's in a white void talking to the Knights. But the way she speaks is completely different than usual. She's normally monotone and reserved. Here, she's the exact opposite. She's social. She talks like a normal person. And that's what makes it unsettling. I noticed that a few times in this episode, the shots are exact parallels of ones from episode 1. And then the way that Lain acts at school is just how she acted in episode 1 too. This, to me, just shows how much she's changed in only 6 episodes. There's a bunch of people holding out their arms and looking in the sky, where there's an illusion of Lain through the clouds. Whatever it is, Lain seems pissed about it. Throughout this episode, every time Lain walks through her room, you hear water. And later when she runs through it, you actually see the water splashing up from the floor. It just adds to how wrong and dystopian her room feels. There's a mouth taunting Lain. I have no more to say about that one. The child killer scientist tells Lain a lot of damn lore about the kids, and then dies. Since I assume you've watched the show, I won't take any more of your time explaining this really confusing stuff. Lain starts laughing maniacally. This is the first time Lain doesn't look confused. She looks entertained. And then we find out the Knights place a bomb in her computer, which is a sentence I did not expect to say about episode 6. Okay, this is starting to get really interesting, and still pretty confusing. See you when we do the next set of episodes. Bye.